with the city of brotherly love in the backdrop here at Talon Energy Stadium. No love between these two teams, Sam Stockley. Bethlehem and Pittsburgh, a rematch from the Eastern Conference quarterfinals in 2018 when Bethlehem ousted Pittsburgh in Highmark, and now they welcome the Riverhounds to Talon Energy Stadium for the first time in the USL Championship season of 2019. Tyler Terrans along with my main man, Sam Stockley, for what should be a more than entertaining fixture as Nico Brett and Bob Lilly's Riverhounds looking to get off to a better start than their first two games, Sam, I would say, looking for their first win of the season. Meanwhile, Bethlehem looking for their first win at home, and they turned Goodman into a fortress last season. However, moving into new digs here at Talon Energy, and they have not gotten off to a great start, falling to Memphis last week, and then, of course, to North Carolina FC 2 weeks ago. And this is really just a poor mistake from Ofimo, but Brendan Burke knows that his side is capable of better.
Oh, 100%. You know, he's got a young, exciting, attacking team, but you know, as you know, that with the age that they've got coming through, it's going to be difficult for him in these games, especially against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who are so experienced and can damage you going forward. And
the Riverhounds are experienced, particularly along the back line, and they're going to be having to deal with the likes of Zach Zandy, who's a really clever player when he gets on the ball. Keystone boy through and through. Born in Pennsylvania, Villanova University product, Reading United product as well, and now repping the Bethlehem Steel badge, and he's excellent on the ball.
Fantastic on the ball. He's a little technician. You can see here he drifts inside, he opens his body up, he's looking to place that far post and knows exactly what he's doing. But he can see the game, he can thread a ball through, he can cause problems for you, and it'd be difficult for Pittsburgh if they don't get him.
And if Pittsburgh are to try to lock him down, it's going to serve them well. And when you think about Riverhound teams, you think defense. However, through the first two games, they've conceded 4. And producer extraordinaire Ava Ponte, a little bit of digging, they conceded 4 goals through the first 9 games last year. What's been going wrong?
I think exactly that. You know, with Bob Lilly, he's such a defensive, he's such a technical guy and a tactical guy. And I think that when you've got build up some time and you can see what a team does, maybe you can go and exploit that. And maybe this part of the season, I think the teams have caught them out.
And on the other side of the ball for Bob Lilly and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, their go-to guy last year was Mr. Nico Brett from Kingston, Jamaica, and he is electric when he gets on the ball. 15 goals last season. He led the team and partnered up with Steven Dos Santos. These two are going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, if you're a centre-back and you look at the fixture list and you're playing Pittsburgh Riverhound, you're going to see this boy Brett and think he can cause me problems. You see little quick feet there, tucks it inside the near post. He can get in the box, he can finish, he's strong, and he's direct.
And Nico Brett actually registered a brace against Bethlehem last year in a 2-1 win at Goodman. What does he have in store for his first match here at Talon Energy Stadium? Well, you're just going to have to wait and find out, as it is a battle for the Keystone State. Bob Lilly's Pittsburgh Riverhounds traveling to Talon Energy Stadium to take on Brendan Burke and the Bethlehem Steel in what should be a terrific 90 minutes. Don't move a muscle. Almost set for kickoff here in Chester, Pennsylvania, as the Bethlehem Steel and Pittsburgh Riverhounds set for a rematch of the 2018 Eastern Conference quarterfinals. As we are just moments away from a start of a match that should be electric. Bethlehem Steel terrific on the ball, love to keep possession. Pittsburgh Riverhounds on the other side. Obviously, Sam, we talked about their defense, and we'll take a look at the starting 11 for Brendan Burke and this Bethlehem Steel side. And when you take a look at this lineup, there's always going to be a change. I mean, last week there was a statistic, 99 out of their 101 games have had a different starting 11. Now, here's the 100th different starting lineup over the past couple of years, and there's a few changes in it. Walter Cortez, great little Costa Rican player over on the right side. Meanwhile, on the other side for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they have a lot of defensive pieces, and that three-back system can look like five, and it's a triangle in the middle. Confuses a lot of teams, but it does not fool the Tampa Bay Rowdies or the Swope Park Rangers. No, you look for number 17, Vanke Yazil. He'll step into midfield, and then it goes to a two-stroke three-back, and he can catch you out. You know, Pittsburgh Riverhounds' movement and their fluidity within their system can be a real problem for Bethlehem Steel and the young side. Well, our head referee, Jose Lara, gets us underway from Talon Energy. I invite you to turn off the world and turn on the game. 90 minutes ahead here in the Keystone State as these two teams, no love lost between them. Penalty kick shootout in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals a year ago. Bethlehem looking for their first win at home this season. Pittsburgh just looking for their first 3 points. Will they be able to find it on the road? Well, you're just going to have to wait and find out. It's going to be a tough test. It'll be a tough test for Bethlehem Steel against this Pittsburgh Riverhound side. So much experience, so much attacking finesse, and against this young back four, it'll be interesting. Young back four that does look a little bit different. You have Issa Rayan, who's been getting reps at that right back position, and then Ofemu paired up with Matt Real, who's moved inside. Mark McKenzie started last game, and it was Olivier Baizo in Issa Rayan's spot. And Walter Cortez is the only one who remains consistent in terms of actually where he's stationed on the field at that left back position. You fancy him, don't you? Yes, I do. I like this lad. I think he's got a bright future. You know, I watched his game. I watched his home debut. He's tenacious. He gets stuck in. He loves to get forward. He reminds me of a little bit of a Daniel Alves in the way that he's so attacking minded, but he works so well with Zandy, who slips inside. You know, we spoke about Zandy in the pre-game, number 38. Watch for him to pop inside underneath Pittsburgh's defense and midfield line, and then you'll see Cortez bombing up that left-hand side. Danny Alves, that's some high praise, my friend. Hey. You're not going to throw around that name lightly, are you? No, not at all. Here's Canardo Forbes. Brendan Burke believes he's usually somebody who impacts the game the most and one of the more underrated players in the USL Championship. Is Walter Cortez a bit of work to do. And able to win a throw-in for Bethlehem. Here's Farris trying to get on the end of it. Paired up with Michi Galina up top. Plenty of pace and finishing technical abilities up top for Brendan Burke, but we've yet to see that over the past couple of games. Not only have they lost in their past couple of affairs, as that's a really rough challenge. Vanke Yazil goes down. Farris was responsible. Jose Lara to make sure that everybody's all right as you get a look at the main man in charge for Bethlehem. And, you know, we talk about a lot with Brendan and, you know, the situation that he's in, and obviously with the amount of young players that they have, results not at the forefront of their mind, but it's all about the process and hoping that the process will then lead to results. I think it's 100% about the process, you're right, but I think that process, this process, should I say, I said American process, yeah, I like that, goes back to now a U19 age group being a block, more so than maybe 22, 23 that he had last year. So, you know, when you talk to Brendan Burke, he is all about how they're having to reiterate mentality, how the habits, details in this young squad that's now stepped in. But make no bones about it, he is so excited to be there. He loves the day-to-day. He was talking in our interview that we had him, he was talking about his staff and how key and important they are to him. And he knows what he's got ahead of him, and he knows what he has to do with this young side. Farris trying to find Galina. Stepping up as Joe Greenspan. And it'll be a free kick in favor of Bethlehem. But it was interesting, you mentioned about Galina and Farris, and they've almost changed their system. That's the beauty of what they've got now. They're able to sort of, it's not so structured. They have a style of play that they want to play, and in this team, they look with the two forwards and they combine and play. And the way that Brendan said it was interesting. They want a style, yep, not a system. Exactly that. So I think it gives Brendan an opportunity to be able to tweak with it. You know, sometimes if you're a manager and you got your USL Championship team, and then you're also hampered in the way that you have to play to a certain system and players don't fit it, it's like a double handcuff. Absolutely. Pittsburgh showing teeth here, sent across all the way through, and it's Kevin Kerr who finishes it off. No more than 5 minutes into the game. Bob Lilly loves it. Kevin Kerr loves it even more. And the Pittsburgh Riverhounds with a 1-0 lead.
It was the young guy at the back post. He just gets caught. Lovely little interchange here, dummy there. You see Kerr pulled off Cortez on this back post, and that's that youngness. That's that coming in with your body closed. You'll see in this angle. Look, Cortez's pictures, body's closed, doesn't even know Kerr's there. Comes across, sticks his foot out, puts it in the back of the net in the opposite direction. Keeper can't do anything about that, but it's going to make it a tough start now.
Ryan James credited with the assist, 24-year-old from Mississauga, Ontario. Kevin Kerr, who's just littered all over the all-time records in the Pittsburgh Riverhounds history books in his 7th season with the Hounds. Has started and played in every game so far, scoring his first goal of the season. Only had 2 goals in 21 appearances last year, but he is one of those guys who's just sort of the heart and soul of the team. It doesn't matter if he gets 20 appearances and starts and plays in every single game. He's a guy that you need in the locker room to just bring the team together, and he's bringing them together early here at Talent Energy.
100%. You can't express how hard that is to start every game since he's been there. The dedication, the fitness, what he needs to do.
Walter Cortez bending in an early ball. Joseph Greenspan got a good foot to it.
Very important flick there. What a ball that was there from Cortez, and Ringspan done everything he needs just to get his toe on that.
Here's Fontana after the ball from Giovanni Willis. There's going to be a foul right at the edge of the area. Willis ends up scoring, and they're claiming that they wanted the advantage. Jose Lara is going to bring it back, and it'll be a free kick for Bethlehem.
It was a great strike.
It was a bizarre play.
Great strike. You can see Willis disappointed, but to be fair, the whistle had gone. See here, though, just gets fouled. Fontana in there, just lovely little turn, but there wasn't even a foul. He gets slipped, but then he gets swarmed. Yeah, and then it's a great finish. Keeper does give up on it. He's heard the whistle.
So you're giving the keeper the benefit
I'm giving
of the doubt
keeper
there.
Definitely.
All right.
He shrugged that. Knew it was coming, heard the whistle, bottom corner.
Well, doesn't this look familiar? James Chambers standing over a free kick from about 25 yards away on the right-hand side. He buried this one very similar in extra time in the playoffs last year. Chambers sails it over the bar.
Oh, he's just trying to whip it back across his body. It's the hardest one, but it also is the nicest one when it goes in.
Well, that was the same exact type of free kick that he took in the quarterfinals last year. He brought it all the way across inside of the post. I mean, that game last year was an instant classic. You and I were talking about, if you're on the Pittsburgh side of things at home, it's devastating. But the 4-hour bus ride back to Bethlehem, buzzing.
Just buzzing. Knowing that you're going through bizarre penalties, goes right the way through.
Here's Michi Galina, Bethlehem. Bit of a wake-up call, conceding that early goal to the Hounds and Kevin Kerr. And the foul, or perhaps handball, either way, a free kick for the Hounds. And Bob Lilly in his 2nd season at the helm. And take a look at the record there. 16 wins, 15 draws. They had a 10-game unbeaten streak to start 2018, but it featured 6 draws and 4 wins. I mean, this is a guy who it seems like he hates to lose more than he likes to win, and the scorelines show that, and his style shows that as well.
I agree, but there's nothing better than a little 1-0 win.
Yep.
You know, and that's, I thought that was a free kick there.
Yep.
Yeah, it came in a little
Bringing
bit late.
It back now.
Fontana flying in, but no, like you said, back to Bob. He knows the game. He knows his team. He knows his strengths. He plays these nice little systems, as I mentioned, with players stepping in. He's got 2 different types of formations, and he's a clever manager. Yeah, you see here, definitely a foul there.
It's late.
Comes out late. Another little opportunity for a free kick here, though.
Toby Adewale, the culprit.
He's important to them, Adewale.
James Chambers again. This is a bit more difficult angle to try to put it on frame. I have a feeling it'll be delivery, but James Chambers, captain Bethlehem. Can't surprise you at times. He tries to put it on frame, and it wasn't a bad effort. It had Kyle Morton intrigued just for a moment.
You can see what he's trying there, right? Just trying to set it up as if he was going to cross it back post, and then he just has that little look and tries to whip it into that near post.
And there it is from our producer, Ava Ponte, -3 goal differential at home this season. And not only -3, they haven't scored yet at home.
I think it's, you know, I think when you look at these stats, I think we're always, as commentators, we're always going to back it off last season and what they have, but I don't think it's fair to do that this season, especially with how young this squad is and what is going on. I think that for me, Bethlehem Steel is going to be gauged on how many players that they have appearing in the first team throughout the season.
Benki Azil steps forward. Nico Brett trying to gain position. Chambers wins the header and he's fouled afterwards, and he's checking for blood, and Jose Lara obviously going to stop due to an apparent head injury, but Captain Chambers appears to be all right as we are knocking on the door of the 11th minute. Kevin Kerr with the opening goal in the first 5 minutes off the feed from Ryan James. It was a great little dummy from Nico Brett that really set it up. And that's the type of player where you should probably get the assist on it, but you never will because he didn't touch the ball.
No, but like exactly that. But, you know, you see so many forwards in that position just try and get their foot in it and not aware. His awareness there, Brett, of just knowing that ball's a little bit behind him and lets it run. And then you have Kerr coming in to finish it.
Walter Cortez just getting a stern talking to from our referee. James Chambers going to bat for his young outside back, 19-year-old from San Jose, Costa Rica, on loan from Saprissa, the Purple Monster from Costa Rica.
It's going to be important for Chambers as captain, obviously experienced, but, you know, for me, if I'm in Pittsburgh Riverhounds changing rooms before the game, I'm like, lads, these are young lads, we're seasonal pro, we need to go out there and get stuck in and see if they can match it and handle it. And so far, to be fair to Bethlehem, still they have. But Chambers, being the captain, is going to have to calm things down. He's going to have to talk to his young lads. You know, these young lads are more than capable of dealing with the physicality, but the mentality of it when you get kicked and pushed, you want to bite. That's what you're looking for in young players, those little inexperiences where they can snap. They're not quite seasoned yet, and that's what you want. Booking, sending off, anything you can.
Chambers a good entry pass, trying to find Willis. He was taken down, and another free kick for Bethlehem. And I'll tell you what, after the Kevin Kerr goal, it has been all Bethlehem.
100%.
We'll restart from the Chambers free kick. Fontana pushing it out wide. Here's Issa Rayan.
You just see there, number 17, Benki Azil, just dropping back in again. You know, he floats in between that position as a centre-back, and then when they win the ball, Riverhounds, he slides into the midfield.
It's stopper-sweeper-esque, isn't it?
But yeah, but like midfield to defense rather than defense to goalkeeper.
Yes. Great little move over on the far side. And Ryan James will come away with it. He was responsible for the assist on the Kevin Kerr goal. Speaking of which, here is the main man.
The one thing Bethlehem Steel will do is they will press.
And were they able to win a throw-in? They were. Steven Dos Santos was claiming that it came off of Bethlehem, but no such luck. And no sympathy from the referee.
He's a big-time player for him, isn't he, Dos Santos, in that midfield. He doesn't look as quick as you may imagine. He's a tall, gangly feather, but he's actually got a lot of pace, and he's real silky on the floor. He's a little bit Peter Crouch-esque.
All right,
only a little bit.
Crouchy reference.
Crouchy's feet were magnificent, right? So that's a big call. But he's that sort of figure, but he's real clever. He sees a decent pass.
Here's Ryan James getting wide for the Riverhounds. Joe Greenspan. Carlos Coronel getting the start in between the sticks for Brendan Burke tonight.
Yeah, you just heard Bob Lilly shouting higher, higher. He was talking to his front three, trying to press him. The moment that the ball goes back, then they're looking to press him and win it high.
Good distribution from Greenspan.
Real nice play, that is.
Dos Santos out wide for James. It's Canardo Forbes out of the reach of Nico Brett, and Bethlehem will build from back to front. Chambers over the top looking for Farris. It's a delectable ball, but it's a little bit too close to Kyle Morton, and he gobbles it up. 24-year-old keeper from Westchester, Pennsylvania. Played for the James Madison Dukes from 2012 to 2016 and was able to beat Farris, the big young 18-year-old striker from Yaoundé, Cameroon.
18-year-old, he looked like a man then, didn't he? You know, you see the future that he's going to have once he starts learning the game. He's such a highly thought of talent in there, and he's just learning his game. You know, you can see there the potential that Union will have of him.
And Michi started in an offside position. Almost trying to bring it down, and the foul's going to be called against Canardo Forbes.
Just see Chambers dictating to his line again there, trying to drop in. The midfielder who'll drop in, makes that extra player in that back three and build up to get the ball.
Fontana keeping it moving for Bethlehem. Issa Rayan looking for an option, only finding one negative in Chambers.
Really good movement from Fontana for me there, just in that he's coming inside underneath. It makes it so hard to mark if you're a midfielder for Riverhounds. You know, you've got a player popping inside, it's so difficult.
And Chambers called for the foul, and he can't believe it. That looked pretty clean. Dabo, finding Van Kiyazil.
You see him stepping in. Just the tempo of the game's dropped a touch, isn't it? You know, Bethlehem still need to keep that. They had the emphasis. I know they had a goal against, and then they were moving the ball well, and now they've just dropped down their tempo a little bit, and that's going to suit. That will suit Pittsburgh.
Dos Santos on the first time, not a bad idea. No Femu had to get rid of it, and a corner kick coming up for the Hounds. And Sam, it just seemed like Bethlehem weren't ready to start the game, and Bob Lilly's side just pounced on them. I mean, was there anything that you did in particular to sort of get yourself ready for a game, a ritual for you to just lock in, or were you always just ready to go?
Always ready to go.
Yeah.
That's just the way that I was. This first game, you know, right?
Yeah.
First 5 minutes of any game is going to be crazy. Now that 5 minutes maybe settles down after 10, 12. Sometimes it could be crazy for 35 minutes. But you never don't come out ready, especially against Pittsburgh Riverhounds, where they're going to come to the away team and try and get after you. That's just, you know, that's just youthism right there.
And this is a revenge game for Pittsburgh.
Huge.
So many of these guys were on the field and part of that 8-round penalty kick shootout that saw them lose at home in front of more than 5,000 at Highmark. As Kevin Kerr is ready for the corner, he's actually one assist away from tying the club record. As Kerr bends one in, and the first two, it was actually Matt Real. And James Chambers checking on, I believe, Steven Dos Santos, who picked up an apparent head injury. Jose Lara didn't see it. Sent back in, Kerr bringing it down. He's gonna try to put one on frame, and Carlos happy to see it over the bar, but Kevin Kerr is feeling himself in the opening 20 minutes.
Yeah, he is. That's nice. That just drops down. You see what he's doing. He's just trying to get a little bit of the outside, back going right across back post. They're either in or where they end up over, but they don't half look nice. Look at this, drops in, does well. Santos just gets his body, Kerr just stays a little bit too high. Just gets closed down too quick. He needed the ball to drop just a touch more.
30-year-old from York, England. Mentioned before, in his 7th season. He's actually never been past the USL quarterfinals in the postseason since joining the Riverhounds in 2013. Ranked 2nd in assists, games played, 5th all-time in goals.
That's pretty rare as well, you know, in the USL for players to stay around as long as that.
Yep.
You know, obviously, you know, with how it works with contracts and this, that, and the other, it's not often you get that. So it's great to see someone like that, you know. Back home, you've hit 10 years, you get a testimonial.
Yep.
Testimonial, they fill the stadium, you get all the money. I wonder if he'll be getting that in 3 years' time.
Well, it's also a testament to the Hounds and what
Sure.
they've built, and Kevin Kerr feeling like he doesn't want to go anywhere else and that he doesn't need to be anywhere else, and he wants to try to help build it.
I think he fits the system as well with Lily perfect. You know, the way that they play, the way that they do like to play in wide areas. He's got a bit of a free role. You'll see him drift back in here in the shape, but works from that right-hand side into the sort of center of the field. And like you said, he's scoring goals, he's assisting goals, he's the main man. Why do you want to go anywhere else in some respects?
The world needs more Kevin Kerrs and Harry Kanes.
Harry Kane, what a player.
He's all right.
Didn't realize how fast he was, you know?
He's
so
not fast.
Sadio
Mane is
You just think he's but you think Harry Kane is a hold-up, pin-up guy.
Yeah. Always replace your divots, folks.
Just see him.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Just see him. I had a few divots where I played down that right-hand side. Well, there was only like one part of the field on one half and the other part of the field on the other half.
You were the groundskeeper crew.
Oh, yeah,
Worst nightmare.
Groundskeeper hated me. Stop cutting up your field.
Here's Ryan James. Look how deep Steven Dos Santos drops in to receive it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, he's hard to mark. It's so difficult when people drift in and out. You think of him more of a target player, but he will drop in and get on it.
Cortez gives it away. Matt Real picking up his teammate. Puts in an important challenge along the back line. Chambers almost gave it away. Bethlehem a little shaky at the back in possession right now, but they're going to stick to their guns and try to build up from the back, and it pays dividends. Giovanni Willis now.
Good play there from Willis. Love that little cut back in.
Fontana gets it out wide for Issa Rayan. Rayan wants to deliver. It's a good ball in, and Bethlehem equalize. It's Faris, and it's the first goal of Talon Energy for Bethlehem in 2019. The Steel respond. We're level at 1.
Brilliant build-up from start to finish. See Fontana, this is just the end bit of it here. Wonderful ball in here. And just a great header by Faris. Gets above him, is centre back there, and just buries it home. Great delivery, but that's just all about the striker for me and hunger. Spoke about it before. He gets up, attacks the ball, great header, does everything right, gets it down into the floor. Keeper can't do anything. But it all started in a build-up down this left-hand side with Cortez. Just after giving the ball away, they went straight through.
Well, the Forge happy to see a ball find the back of the net in their new digs here in Chester, Pennsylvania.
Just Cortez is taking too long there, you know. That's what we spoke about. Brilliant from the keeper.
Carlos with an interesting play, playing that sweeper keeper role as Pittsburgh looking to respond quickly. But all the credit in the world to Bethlehem, who went down in the first 5 minutes, and it really was a long time coming, that goal, as Nico Brett holding up play nicely.
But if you think about it, to be fair, in the first 22 minutes, we've not mentioned Brett.
Yep. Besides the dummy on the Kevin Kerr goal as he lofts one in. Ryan James not quite tall enough to get to that one, and it'll be with Conardo Forbes now. Round Issa Rayan. Dover. Nico Brett. Contact. Dos Santos now. Out wide for Kerr. Good matchup here with Cortez. It's a great ball back for Kevin Kerr. And Cortez with an excellent recovery, but concedes a corner in the process.
It's exactly what we're talking about there, Tyler. Mentality. You've just scored 5 minutes after. They get caught a little bit, and already they've been pinned back in there after the last couple of minutes again. So, you know, this has got to deal with this header, get this out the box, and then settle down and regain possession again. Build-up was brilliant to the goal, eh?
Excellent. More defending to do for Bethlehem after they equalize through Faris as Kevin Kerr laces one in. Vanke Yazil, just a glancing header that's never going to trouble anybody on Bethlehem. And a goal kick coming for Carlos.
Yeah, difficult header there for Vanke Yazil. Coming away from him, just trying to flick it in there. Actually, if you think about it, difficult for him, but actually a really good ball if you've got someone coming around the back.
Chambers, a great ball in. Zach Zandy trying to just bully his way through. Joe Greenspan stepping forward. Dos Santos gets it for Forbes, who was just trying to go straight through Anthony Fontana.
Oh, he just tried to nip it through Fontana's legs there.
The Megnuts?
Yeah, the Megnuts. Just tried to give him the Megnuts. Been a great response from Pittsburgh, though.
We'd expect nothing less from these two excellent clubs who put on a show in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals last year as Carlos lines this one up.
It's amazing, that wide area, though. Again, they got exposed in that wide area. It's been a problem for them this season.
Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Here's Willis on the move. He's been terrific. Really enjoyed watching him since he's come over and joined the ranks of Bethlehem.
Very good player. He's connecting really well. What's happening here is Bethlehem Steel's build-up's good, and there's not really enough pressure from Pittsburgh Riverhound at the minute, and they're able to drop it. They're looking for the ball of Zandy into that little midfield gap. They've hit it 2 or 3 times, and it's causing Riverhounds a bit of a problem at the minute. You can see it again, just trying to drop it into that gap where the wide players spin in. Fontana and Zandy spin inside to support Faris underneath. And they're having success in a minute.
20 minutes remaining in this first half. Kevin Kerr and Faris, the goal scorers. 1-1 is the score. And it would be a point for both teams if it is to finish this way. And for Bethlehem, they would probably see that as a good result. Pittsburgh on the road, however, still looking for your first win of the season. And Sam, as you mentioned, against an extremely young side, they probably feel like they should go on and get 3 points, as this cross will be handled by Kerr, but not appropriately, and eventually cleared away by Van Yazil. And now here's Walter Cortez, the young Costa Rican. Matt Real needing an option because Nico Brett was approaching rapidly. Cortez trying to go over the top of Kerr. Fontana cutting it in. And the foul will go against Bethlehem.
Great play from Fontana there, just picking up second balls. And Bethlehem still, for me, have matched Pittsburgh in a physicality and aggression. They're not worried about it. They've stepped in, they've conquered that. They've moved the ball really, really well.
You can actually hear a little bit of controversy between Joe Greenspan and Bob Lilly right now.
Yeah, just see Greenspan, he's talking about runners going in behind him. He's not happy at the minute, quite rightly so. You know, he's coming from a back four, you know, that's not really conceding goals, and he's got praise and all of that, and all of a sudden now they're getting exposed game after game, and he's obviously losing his head. And
the conversation is still going on between Lilly and Greenspan's sort of shaking his head, and, you know, two ultra competitors with Bob Lilly, who obviously, you know, is meticulous when it comes to his center back, and specifically Greenspan, who sort of anchors down everything.
Yeah, well, you got a problem if he's concerned and not really settled, because like you said, he's the calming figure of it all.
Adewale finding Ryan James. Early cross, and Fontana just knocks it away.
You see the field cutting up again a little bit, can't you? It's difficult for them.
Issa Rayan asking a lot of legwork from Michi Galina. Adewale forced to go back for Morton.
It's great pressure though, making the goalkeeper kick from there. So many centre forwards might give up on that, and then it goes back to the goalkeeper and they get set. Handball.
Willis takes the shot again.
For it.
And it will be mustered for Shivani Willis, and that's silly because he knew he wasn't going to get to the ball, and now for one of your holding central midfielders who has to be a lot more careful heading into future challenges.
I think he gets booked for kicking the ball away, because as he kicks it away, then you can see Rinspun turn straight round to the referee and get into him. I think the handball was what it was, but then he went to shoot and kicked the ball away, and he's got done for the yellow card.
We'll try to get the confirmation on whether or not it was for kicking the ball away or for the handball. And it is for kicking the ball away. Stocks, you were right. What else is new?
I've just done it so many times when I'm trying to get a breather. When I've been under pressure so much and I've got to get rid of the ball. Again, like you said, Willis said, just got to keep his head in the game, just got booked. You can see he's got that character, but you can never take that out of a young lad, right? That's what makes him what he is. But again, learning curve for him, as you mentioned. He's been booked now. Now he's just got to stay calm because he's a big player.
Bernardo Forbes skipping away from the initial challenge. Adewale keeping it moving, and Dabo forced to go back, and Bethlehem doing a good job of squeezing Pittsburgh right now.
Great pressure. You could just see it coming from the front two to start with.
Pittsburgh are handling it beautifully, though. Dover out wide for Kerr. Kerr whips it in, and Issa Rayan is stationed appropriately, and Shivani Willis can muscle it away this time without receiving a card. Good ball in, Dos Santos offside.
Oh, it was lovely. It was lovely, and we was just talking about the big man's touch, old Crouchy, and then just got under him. Lovely little ball over the top, though. So I mean, he's that type of frame that you don't think, he just drifts off your shoulder, and he drifts into these little areas that you don't really think is going. And he's got a lovely touch normally to bring it down. I love that little ball over the top there. One of the things that when we speaking to Brendan Burke on the interview, he said, you know, one of his goals for his young lads is to try and break their back line. 4 to 5 times a game. He feels like with his front two, obviously Galina and Faris, that he can get, if he gets in behind their back line 4 or 5 times, he can cause problems.
Coach Burke also saying that his side, obviously, through the opportunities that they had to equalize against Memphis and to take the lead for the majority of the game, and obviously Benjamin Ofemu with the poor mistake that led to the Rashawn Dolly goal in the first ever win in Memphis 901 FC history. But again, with such a young team, those mistakes are going to happen. They're growing pains, and it's just speed bumps along the way of what is such a long and grueling journey, but has proved to be a successful one for Bethlehem, making the postseason the past 2 years.
Oh, and when you speak, you know, that's one of the things that I asked Brendan as the manager, you know, being into coaching myself. I'm like, how do you manage your expectations and your emotions when you know that they're capable of doing, you've played so well, and you come out, and he's like, listen, he said, we look at the season, we know how many games we got, and he said, and on our board, we have 8 games where we know that we're probably going to lose because we've got youth, we've got young, we've got a mistake, a lack of concentration, and he said, I've learned to just walk in, I scratch it off my board, and then I forget about it and walk on, because that's what I've got to do with these young players. You know, it's not what he does so much with them from an individual standpoint and how they train them and obviously get them ready. He said, I just go to the board and I scrub it off.
Short memory. Chambers.
It's got to be hard though, eh?
I certainly don't want to be in that position. Much easier from this vantage point. Work to do for Fontana. Jordan Dover a little bit too aggressive in trying to win the ball back. And a free kick for Bethlehem.
Look how far back he's having to work, Fontana there, doing a great part of his defensive duty, especially with Dover coming up. He's having to work so far back at a minute.
Dover, a very experienced player, and knows a lot about what is expected in a Bob Lilly system. 24 years old, from Ontario. Played with the Rhinos in 2017 when they fell to Louisville in the Eastern Conference semifinals after beating the Charlotte Independents in extra time. Actually a product of Green Bay Phoenix, where he attended school and played some college ball from 2012 to 2015, and has now found his way back under the tutelage of Bob Lilly here with the Riverhounds, and the throw-in will be in favor of Pittsburgh, who are starting to settle in nicely after surrendering the equalizer. Cortez. It's not a bad idea from Fontana. from Fontana. Venky Azil does him one better. How about that ball from Chambers on the first?
Love it. Whipped straight in there. Great touch. Such a quality player. As you mentioned, you can see him here now dropping into the back four, just orchestrating it all.
Cortez. Oh, that's really clever. And now here's Farris trying to work on Greenspan. Shows a bit too much of it. Venky Azil coming over in support.
Lovely combinations.
Cortez fans on it. Kerr, did he keep it in play? Assistant referee says yes. And then Nico Brett just swipes at Fontana. Referee did not see it.
Didn't see it.
That's a foul in your book though, right?
I think, no.
No.
No, I don't think he meant to do it. I think he's just feeling the pressure and trying to brush it off. I know it caught me in the face, which wasn't very nice, but that's not intentional. He's just trying to get away there for me. I just think it's a flailing arm.
Nice little 1-2, first time effort. Oh, what a goal from Bethlehem! Michi Galina rifles it into the top corner, and Bethlehem down a goal, now up a goal in the first half. And it is a wonderful team effort from Bethlehem and an individual strike that you will surely see on USL Goal of the Week nominee and potentially a winner.
What a finish from Galina. Great combination play up here. Just drifts inside. Just seeing, it looks like he gets a toe poke. It's a great little give and go here, and it looks like he's just outside of his right foot. I thought at first maybe he toe poked in. That's amazing finish. Outside of the right foot, hits it perfect, near post, top corner. Great combination, great. Two great goals.
There is no other way of putting it. That is drop-dead sexy football from the Bethlehem Steel.
Great little give and go, passes it in, follows his ball, and then just hits it on the outside of his right foot. What a finish.
And now you got both of your striking partners in Farris and Galina off and running in 2019. I mean, that has to do a boatload of confidence.
Oh, they'll be ready now. They'll be ready to go.
And now what's the response from Pittsburgh like? Here's Zach Zandy trying to slide it through. Venky Azil able to get there. Dos Santos still with it. As Sam mentioned before, can just sort of glide past you with that big frame.
They work so hard, the two front guys. You can see him just dropping back in there for Pittsburgh Steel.
Kevin Kerr just forced to push it out wide for Dover. Met by Chambers. Excuse me, that was Matt Real. Kevin Kerr, little stutter step around Cortez. Good delivery in. And James Chambers back for defensive responsibilities. And look at the spin on that ball. It's still staying in. Pittsburgh just trying to see it out for a corner. It sticks right on the flag. And a throw in for the Hounds.
Need to get up. You see them trying to organize them, get them up to the 18-yard box, get them up and get them out, and try and relieve a little bit of this pressure since they scored the second goal. Keep coming down this right-hand side here. We spoke about Cortez and how well he did in the last game. You can just see him a little bit sluggish now. He's had a lot of work to do.
Venky Azil met by Dos Santos, but not nearly enough juice on it.
Oh, it was a lovely ball by Venky Azil. Puts it in there. You see Dos Santos. Great feet though when he broke away just a minute ago when he stepped over, brushed past. Got to deal with him from corners and set pieces and crosses because he can score with his head.
Bethlehem and off and running again, but Farris stumbling. I wish we had a camera in the booth here, because the amount of times that you've gotten to the edge of your seat or stood up or gave me an elbow, I mean, it's unbelievable.
I just see these little moments, these little bits. It's like, oh yeah, brilliant, like that. You know, just riding tackles outside of the boot. I just like all that type of play and that technique that they have, that they're trying to find. You can see the ideas, the confidence is growing in them as well now. Young squad, obviously, you've gone 1-0 down and now you've gone 2-1 up. Now you're feeling it a little bit.
And I feel like we need to be honest, because we're a couple honest lads right here. And we didn't expect too much coming into this game from an offensive standpoint. We always knew it was going to be a tactical battle, but in terms of terrific Michi Galina goals, a fast start from Kevin Kerr. I feel like that was the last thing on our mind.
100%, 100%. I thought it was going to be a little bit more difficult at the minute for Steel in the respects of how Pittsburgh can move the ball, how well they've been moving it. But they've come out and they've answered it. They've pressed high, they've been creative, they've combined well in wide areas, and fair play, they deserve to be 2-1 up for me.
And Ferris is offside.
He uses his body so well, doesn't he, for a young lad, Ferris? You know, he understands his frame, but he just gets it in there, he just moves it, moves his defender out the way, and just allows that ball across his body.
Fans follow the Bethlehem Steel and Pittsburgh Riverhounds and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com.
Chambers there complaining. He feels like he got stepped on his thigh. Kick back at him.
And he's still having a word with Steven Dos Santos. And now the two of them going to meet with our head referee, Jose Lara.
Dos Santos is saying, I stepped over you, I didn't see you. Chambers is saying, nah, you're not doing that to me. Yeah, I do. I do think
he's an honest lad?
Yeah, I think he's an honest lad. I think Dos Santos, look, with that reaction.
There you go. Those are two seasoned veterans.
Oh, I'm sure Chambers has stepped over and caught someone with a stud before.
Maybe once or twice. He's checking for all sorts of battle wounds.
All sorts.
And Bethlehem with fair play. All the way back to Kyle Morton. Well, what a turn of events here at Talent Energy. What looked like another dreadful start for Bethlehem has turned into utter jubilation in the first half. 2 unanswered goals, first from Ferris, then the second from Michi Galina, which was an absolute screamer. We got started in the 5th minute thanks to Kevin Kerr. And it has been a joy to watch these two Keystone State rivals go at it as Dos Santos' shot gets a deflection from Ofemu, and Chambers barking at his youngster Anthony Fontana and his defensive responsibilities. And a corner coming up for the Hounds.
He's having a pop at Cortez. He's got a step. Cortez has just sat a little bit. I mentioned it before. He's had a bit of a tough first half. I was watching a young outside back, and he's given the ball away. He's dived in a couple of times on Kerr, who slid past him, and now he's overthinking things. His captain's just shoring him up.
Kevin Kerr on the corner, outswinger, good ball in. Greenspan gets ahead to it, but Carlos able to get there at the near post. And we've seen a couple of times now where Hound defenders and attackers have gotten loose on set pieces, and Bethlehem have been a little shaky marking on those.
Yeah, they've got to tighten that up, especially, like you said, with the quality that they can have in the box. And they'll look to hit ring spun all the time. It's more drilled. They like to drill that one back post and head it. He likes to head it back across. But, yeah, he's definitely someone to watch, obviously, from corners and set pieces.
Joe Greenspan was actually a striker heading into college at the Naval Academy for the midshipmen for the first 2 years, and then transferred to the center back position and ends up being an All-American and gets drafted by the Colorado Rapids. I mean, it's just amazing how your entire life you can think you're one position.
Yeah.
It changes in college,
yeah,
and then it ends up just being an incredible launching pad for your career, and he's embraced it every step of the way.
I think, you know, and I think it's so difficult to be a centre forward because you're playing with your back to play. So you're always looking down the field. It's just a different mentality.
With that frame, though, it's a great, you have a great body for it,
yeah,
you would think.
But maybe in college it might be a little bit more into the channel, you know, a bit more direct, and that's not going to suit him. He looks like a hold-up. See a free kick there, but sometimes, and then when you look, you switch position and suddenly you look up the field, and it's like, I've got all this time.
Beautiful.
I've got all this time and space, and I can ping a ball here and ping a ball there, and you know, he's turned out to be a massive piece of their squad and their puzzle.
Get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for the Bethlehem Steel or Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on both of those sides next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Good ball in from Forbes. Kerr flicks it along, but nobody there but Carlos.
You know, you think about Forbes, you think about their front line, Kerr, Dos Santos. We haven't really mentioned Brett. Brett, I don't know if he's had a shot on goal. I don't know if he's had a chance of goal. I know he let the dummy for the first goal, which was a great little movement. He let it run through his leg for Kerr to come and finish. But when you take him out of the game and their firepower, it's difficult. You know, he's going to have to find a way in this second half to be able to really get in the game and get on the ball.
Well, Brendan Burke basically has just said, okay, we're going to cut out the Jamaican and Nico Brett. Somebody else beat us. It ended up being Kerr in the first 5 minutes. But other than that, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of time and space for Nico Brett. There has been for other players on this Hounds team, but they haven't really been able to get the job done.
No, and that's credit to Bethlehem Steel and the way that they're playing. You know, that they're working hard, this young group. They're pressing in the right areas.
Here's the space for Kerr again. Brings it down with a great first touch and somehow able to win a corner for the visitors.
It's definitely an area for me that they're going to have to look at on this right-hand side with Kerr, because everything has been coming down this side. You know, on the young lad Cortez, Bethlehem Steel's, you know, left back. And that's just a learning curve for him. That's part of this journey, right? He's got to understand, well, I can't step here or I can step. I'm stepping a little bit too late. He's getting too much time on the ball to serve. There are things he's got to work out.
It's a little bit of zone, little bit of man from Bethlehem marking the corner. Kevin Kerr, another lofted ball in. Greenspan gets to it, loose in front. Dangerous times here, and it's going to be a penalty. It's a handball. Wow, right before the stroke of halftime. Bethlehem trying to desperately make their case. James Chambers saying, everybody back up. This is my responsibility. It's not going to change the outcome, and a penalty coming for the Hounds.
You can see it. I just heard him say it honestly was. It honestly was. You got to be so certain there. We'll see it in the replay here, but it was almost, again, you spoke about that delivery in the box. You know, it causes problems. Look at this. Goes in back post. You can see Ringspan getting up, does everything right. Just as it drops down here, he gets pushed into it from the centre back, and it's hit his chest. That's not hit his arm. Referee's got that wrong. Plus, what about the hand in the back on the lad?
Oh, complete shove in the back. Complete shove in the back. However, there's a lot going on. Difficult for the referee to see. When it's all said and done, Kevin Kerr standing on top of it. It would be a brace in the first half. Carlos awaits for Bethlehem. Kevin Kerr, saved by Carlos.
Ball never lies.
The 22-year-old denying Kerr, and now Farris could be going the other way. Looking to chip the keeper. It's an ambitious effort.
That's quality, though. You got to love that.
Wow.
You've got, just why not?
A wild first half comes to a close here at Talon Energy Stadium. Pittsburgh get things started through Kevin Kerr. 2 goals from Bethlehem, one of them a screamer from Michi Galina. Pittsburgh gifted a penalty in the final moments of the first half. Kevin Kerr denied by Carlos. Sam Stockley, what do we think?
I think it sums this game up perfectly. I didn't
Madness.
think it was a penalty. I thought it was harsh done by with a penalty, and the keeper steps up and then makes the save. You know, I said it, ball never lies, and what a great first half of soccer there.
What do we have for an encore in the second half? You're gonna have to stick around and find out. This has been electric stuff from these two Keystone State teams. Kevin Kerr got things started. 2 unanswered goals from Bethlehem, and then a penalty save from Carlos. Where do we go from here? Well, I have the answer. It's halftime. Don't go anywhere. Rifles it into the top corner and Wild first half here at Talon Energy as Bethlehem and Pittsburgh in an absolute dogfight, no pun intended, with the Hounds involved. As Micha Galina's goal right now stands as the game winner, and the USL Championship has obviously gotten off to an incredible start. And there's another USL League, League One, that's gotten off to a great start at well. Let's take a look. League One has already gotten off to a terrific start as Greenville and Tormenta played the first ever game in League One history last night. John Harkes' Greenville triumph falling to John Maloresi's Tormenta FC by a score of 1-0. Former Tampa Bay Rowdy Alex Morel getting the game winner late in that one after the 70th. And we'll take a look at what else has been going on around the USL Championship, Mr. Sam Stockley, and some big headlines here. I mean, just dropping bombs, the USL Championship, as Cameron Iwasa scoring a hat-trick against OKC Energy FC in their 4-1 win. And just like everybody predicted at the beginning of the season, Tulsa Roughnecks, after a couple of weeks, are at the top of the Western Conference table.
Without doubt. Without doubt.
You predicted it, right?
They've got an opportunity. Yeah, they've got it. They've got it. You know, you look at this, we just see the whole promo there about this League One, the Championship, League Two. We've said it so many times on air about how exciting it is now to be involved in this game and in the pro game, in the youth game now. There's a pathway that USL are producing for pros, young pros. It's just so exciting. Like you said, the League One game, you know, last night the lad gets a finish. I saw the game. It was a great goal.
And we'll take a look at what's been going on around the USL Championship from a score and result standpoint. Indy 11 find a way to grind one out against the Fighting White Pumas in Jimmy Nielsen's Hartford Athletic. They are still without a point. St. Louis FC, it's another 1-0 win, this time against the Charlotte Independents, who are off to a rocky start. Louisville and Birmingham delayed. North Carolina FC and the Charleston Battery. Sam Stockley, close to your home, a 0-0 draw. Tampa Bay and Loudoun at 0-0 as well. What do you like up there?
I think the Charleston Battery one is a big one, you know, going in here now. That's obviously a really, really big game. And then, like we said, you know, you talk about Hartford. It's so hard for them. They're away from home. All their games are going to be, you know, they got
and against every single postseason team from last year.
You know, so you look at that. But in the 11, for me, I still think that they have something about them. I just think that they're one of those teams that are just going to get better and better and better.
Well, we're continuing to move through the halftime show. Game of the week schedule. As you can see, some really, really intriguing fixtures. Obviously, it's the game of the week. Mike Watts and Devin Kerr will have you covered every step of the way. Sam, as we look at this over the next 2 months, if you only were allowed to watch one game, which one would it be?
I would go Nashville versus Tampa Bay Rowdies.
You would.
I would.
You would.
I would have to. two teams that are playing, two teams that like attacking football. I think that's going to be, you know, Rowdies are on a good way at the minute, and obviously Nashville getting prepared, so.
All great stuff. We're going to step aside one more time, but when we come back, highlights from that insane first half and, of course, the conclusion of this electric 90 minutes. Sam Stockley, this has been a wild, wild first half in this Eastern Conference matchup between Bethlehem and Pittsburgh. To be completely honest, while I enjoyed all of the stuff that we covered during halftime, I'm glad to get back to this game because there is so much going on and that we need to break down. And we'll give you a look at what happened in the first half. And Sam, I mean, opening 5 minutes, Kevin Kerr gets things started. Yeah, you can see the ball just coming there. You can, little combination out there with Forbes. And there you see, gets to the bar, he crosses it in there, little step over, and he's got a great finish. And he's been causing problems, Kurt, all game. He's popping up in that little hole. Wonderful finish there. Just gets his foot out on it, goes to the corner, celebrates. First goal of the season for Kevin Kerr, and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds were off and running. However, after that, it was all Bethlehem, and you just had a feeling that it was only a matter of time before they would find an equalizer. That one wouldn't count, and Giovanni Willis was not happy about it. He was not happy, and here was the resultant free kick afterwards we spoke about with Chambers that he hit last year, and he fancied it. But no, for me, it's been one of those games where Bethlehem Steel have just been so good on the break. They really, really have. They've dominated on the break, and you see another one from Chambers here. Ball's coming in. You know, we talked about this right-hand side, this wide area. It's caused them problems. Again, Cortez here just gets caught a little bit tucked in, and here we see Kerr trying to hit one with a little sidewinder into the far post. Then we would continue on into the later stages of the first half, and that was a great delivery. And then Farris finishing it off, Bethlehem equalizing their first goal of Talent Energy, and it's Fontana who's in the middle of it. Yeah, great ball in. We talked about this, and here you see Farris just comes and attacks it. There's nothing the centre-back can do about that, but that's a great first goal there for the young lad.
He's been excellent in his first 45 minutes, held the ball up well, he's been a physical presence. And here's the second goal, a lovely little give and go, and there you see Galina just bending it with the outside of his right foot into that. I love this, look, drifts inside, little give and go, carry on running, sets off brilliantly there and just hits one with the outside of his right foot and goes in the top right-hand corner. Yeah, and then celebration.
It's electric. Sam Stockley, can you do that?
Yes, but I probably won't be able to walk for maybe a good 2-3 weeks.
Then Pittsburgh would start to knock on the door again, and you know, it was really a good ebb and flow to this one, and then right before halftime, a bizarre call here from the referee. It didn't look like a penalty from our replay, and our crew has done an outstanding job of giving us the looks, and then, as you said, ball never lies.
Ball never lies. Great step, the goalkeeper, and what a time to save a penalty. It was hard done by. We thought the lad got pushed into that penalty really from behind him, and keeper steps up and makes a great save.
And a look at what's on the horizon for Brendan Burke and the Bethlehem Steel. They're at Swope Park Rangers, who have moved over to the Eastern Conference. Then they're home against the Charleston Battery, at the Charlotte Independence, and then home against the Indy 11. That stretch from April 6th to April 20th, that is going to really test the mettle of this team that has an average age of hovering around 21, 22, depending on the day.
For sure. But they're capable of it. You know, there's no question about that. We've seen that in this first half. You know, the way that they can move the ball, and you want to fight. You know, you want to get aggressive with them. They can stand up. These young lads. You know, they are. It's not like they're getting pushed around by the Riverhounds at all. And that's a team that can dominate you from a physical standpoint, and they haven't at all.
Now let's take a look at what's up for the Hounds over the next month or so. They're at Louisville, home against Hartford, home against St. Louis. And they started out this season with a 4-game road swing for the first time ever in club history. And while you are going to say, okay, well, it's not that big of a deal if they don't get that many results, but to go into your home opener lacking momentum, lacking form, it's not exactly what you want if you're Bob Lilly.
No, if you're Bob Lilly, you're hoping you're coming into that first home game with 9 points maybe, even 10, the way that they play and the way that he knows that they're capable. Now he's coming in potentially off the back of a very difficult 4-match spell, but then, you know, I think that that allows you to reset. All right, we've been on the road for 4 games, guys. This is our home game. Great opportunity to reset if your results aren't going for you.
Speaking of resetting, you're Bob Lilly, you head into the locker room. There was some controversy between Bob Lilly and Joe Greenspan really throughout the second portion of the first half. They were having arguments about tracking diagonal runners specifically, and there was some bad blood between the two of them. They're both ultra competitors. I'm sure you've gotten into it with managers over the years that you played as a professional, and it can get heated. How do you sort of reel that back in as a manager and just get everybody back on board?
I think you just got to put your arm around someone like that when you come in. Obviously, you can't show any disrespect or anything like that, and you wouldn't do that. But, you know, the players out there, what he's worried about is you've got Galea and you've got Faris, beg your pardon, that are dropping in deep, and it's so difficult. He doesn't know whether to step in that hole and mark them, or he's got a runner going in behind him and he's not quite getting it right. So he was asking about getting his midfielders tucked in a little bit more in front of him, getting him organised. He is a centre-back just trying to protect himself and saying, I'm getting hurt here at the minute. These guys are running me all over the place and we're not tight enough.
Well, we're officially underway in the second half. Tyler Terrens along with my main man, Sam Stockley. Glad that you could tune in and spend part of your Saturday evening with us as the Bethlehem Steel, as it stands, Michi Galina with the game winner. After the equalizer from Faris and Kevin Kerr got things started, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, if they are to drop this result, would only have 1 point in their opening few matches, and that is not the start that you were looking for if you are the Hounds. However, again, as we mentioned, 4-game road swing to start this season, and the Bethlehem Steel looking for their first win at home of 2019. Well, it could be a lot of firsts here tonight, but we'll just have to wait and see, as it's going to be offside on Bethlehem. We flip-flop sides, obviously, here at Talon Energy in Chester, Pennsylvania. The new digs of Bethlehem coming over from Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University in Bethlehem. And James Chambers committing the foul. And on the other side for Brendan Burke and Bethlehem, you have to be really pleased with the fight, the quality, and just the grittiness that this young team showed in the first half.
Yeah, exactly that. You've described it perfectly there. They've worked hard. They've played when they can play. Like we spoke about, they've combined in wide areas. You see the front two now. They're always working together to push and press, and it's made it really, really difficult. And he's just going to want them to keep doing the same thing. Lovely bit of skill there.
Nico Brett won't be able to get to it. Conrado Forbes, more of the same. And Carlos, who I'm sure has a boatload of confidence going through his head at the moment after the penalty save against Kevin Kerr. I mean, he read that the entire way, and he made an excellent save He had actually 8 saves against North Carolina FC in that loss 1-0 with that Lomas terrific goal where it was just a great team goal from Dave Sarakin's bunch, who are off to a flying start. Here comes the Bethlehem press once more. Joe Greenspan forced to get rid of it. Good delivery for Dos Santos and poked away by Ofemu.
He's done well, Ofemu, there. You know, we spoke about Dos Santos in the first half. He's a big frame, and Ofemu's done excellent against him defensively. And that's what's really what's happening. You look at Zandi and you look at Fontana for Bethlehem Steel, and they're coming inside and they're outnumbering. They play under Gilane and Faris, so it's almost like a little bit of a box 4 centrally. And what it's doing is it's outnumbering the 2 holding midfielders that you have for Pittsburgh Riverhound, and that's why they've been able to get that. They're breaking that press and they're being able to get out straight away with those 2 lads coming in underneath and playing a little bit narrower. So that's something that the Riverhounds will have to sort out.
But isn't that where Vanke Yazil and Adewale are supposed to sort of step in and help them with those numbers?
100%. You're meant to if you got 1 forward. But what's so clever about it, with the 2 forwards for Bethlehem Steel up there, it occupies 3 of the centre-backs. So it's really, when you got 1 centre-back, there's 3 of you against them, so 1 can step in there.
And they have to hold, yep.
Yeah, but now you've got 2 up there. You can't really go 2 for 2 with the pace that they've got Bethlehem Steel over the top. So he's having to stay in. And now with the 2 lads pinching in with Zandi and Fontana, it's causing numbers up in there. And that's really where they've had quite a lot of success, winning it either side of the 2 holding mids for Pittsburgh Riverhound with Dubau and Adewale.
Chambers on the first time asking questions of the Pittsburgh defense. Joe Greenspan trying to answer them. Might have looked like a handball. It's going to fall for Zandi here. And a sliding challenge coming in right at the last. And it's a Riverhounds player who's down.
It's exactly what we're talking about with the narrowness there, you know. And the Riverhound player on the floor makes a great block.
Here comes Bethlehem again, Giovanni Willis. Here's Galena in space. He's going to have it again. And blocked in front by Adewale. Great defending there. Back out for Issa Rayan, another teasing ball in. There was a shove in the back. No call from the referee. Another delivery in. Faris gets a glancing header to it. Ryan James didn't handle it appropriately. Kyle Morton will scoop it up.
That's a penalty for me. 100%, that's a penalty.
It looked like a blatant shove in the back.
Shove in the back on Wallace, and he gets sandwiched. You see here, it's a great ball. Look, comes out, good little build-up play here. Comes here and he just stands it up. Lovely little ball back post, and you see he's got his eyes on the ball. There's a little push.
It would be on Morton,
no? Yeah. No, I think it's a push there from the centre back.
Vanke Yazil?
Yeah. Vanke Yazil pushes. You see his arm come up, gives him a little push. I know, but his arm's
up. It was slight.
It's slight, but if you're the referee and you're seeing that, the referee comes in, it kind of moves him in the air. We see it in slow motion, so you can see a little bit.
Much easier, yep.
That's a penalty for me. If you're given a penalty in the first half, that's a penalty.
So Brendan Burke will leave out the last part of that. He's saying to the 4th official that one of our best players is going down and it should have been a penalty, but you're telling me that there's nothing in it. I mean, he has a bit of a case. First of all, the ball from Rayan is excellent.
Love it. Look, everyone's got their eyes on the ball, but you see, look, there's a little different angle.
There's not enough in that for me.
No.
I would probably say that it's more on Morton than anything, but he's entitled to that space.
No, yeah, Morton for me, he's got to come and attack that, and if you get crushed as a centre forward, that's unlucky. That's just goalkeeping.
Occupational hazard,
But for me, I felt, and although it was a slight hand slow-mo, to be fair, helped us because it looked a little bit worse than it was, but you're right. On second glance, actually, I will retract that. Don't think it maybe was a penalty as I looked at it there, but
it's a big man to step up and admit when he's wrong.
I think
you are that big man.
You can only but try. Again, though, what a great start. Straight in, another penalty opportunity.
I mean, you just figure that these are 2 teams who are looking for a result in different manners. With Pittsburgh, they're just looking for their first win. Bethlehem at home, wanting to just go after it, and it's made for terrific football.
It certainly does, and take nothing away from the quality of Bethlehem Steel with what I'm going to say now. But you know, if you're a pro or player in Pittsburgh Riverhounds starting 11 here, right? It's full of experience. they know how to win games. And they're finding it, they're frustrated at the minute because they would probably have come in here and thought, you know what, we've just come away from Swoop Park Rangers. We've got a great result there, played well. You know, like being a bit disappointed, but you played away from home against a very good side that was littered with good players in there. You come here feeling good about yourself, and all of a sudden you're 2-1 down against a young side.
Chance here for the Hounds, snuffed out by James Chambers.
It just seemed to run out of a little bit of ideas for me, Riverhounds, in that attacking third. Normally they're so fluid. See the pressure coming here on Ringspan, but normally they're so fluid in that attacking third. You know, I do think that when I think of Riverhounds, I know that they're defensive. I know in respect to their technique, their tactical shape, but they can attack. They've got players that can attack with Forbes, Kerr, DeSantos, and they've just been a little bit one-dimensional for me in this game. They really, really have. They've almost run out of ideas in some respects when it gets into that final third.
Good work from Fontana. He's been terrific on the ball when he's gotten the opportunity.
He's been quality, and he's having to do a lot of work up and down this right-hand side.
You saw both Dos Santos and Nico Brett making the run the other direction, and Bob Lilly barking at Nico to come check back to the ball.
Yeah, you know, your outside back there's looking up, and all he's seeing is a number, and there's no space. You can see from, you know, they're not even in the picture, the back four at the minute. So they've dropped off. So at some point, you've got to change that run. The game's really stretched at the minute for me, which I think will suit Bethlehem Steel even more.
Here they come again. Michi Galina showing good pace, knocked off the ball. Crowd wants a penalty. They're not going to get one there, as Galina was a bit off balance.
No, I'm not giving one there.
Nope.
I'm strong on that one. Great through ball for Michi Galina. Great through ball. He does everything right, but it's just a bit of a strong arm. Look, gets back in here. It's a bit of a nudge, but he's going down. I'm not.
And Brendan Burke's going to make the claim that that's their third penalty, but he's just playing mind games with the referees now, just wanting them to think about it.
I think, with all honesty, if you're in a changing room, you'll be laughing about that, like saying, hey, what about when you got weights? What about when the ball got put through and you got weights by their centre-back? Because that's what happens, right? You have a laugh at a joke afterwards about part of the game when you're driving home or when you're flying home and all those different things, but that's not it for me there. I think he just got light-weighted off the ball a little bit. He knew it was coming. He's gone for the penalty. To be fair, that's 2 chances now. The referee's got to stay strong here, you know. They're both called for 2. He's stayed strong. He's got them right, to be fair. I was wrong on the first one, but he got them right.
If I'm Brendan Burke, though, I want retribution for what happened at the end of the first half with that penalty.
That's what you're thinking. That's exactly what I'm saying. You gave that one in the first half, and now there's 2 that you haven't given. You'd just be getting in the 4th official's ear.
But we have agreed that both of those probably should not have been penalties. But it's still in the back of his mind, sort of that make-up call mentality, which shouldn't technically be a thing, but it is.
You know, if you're a captain on the field, you'll be going past the referee saying, keep going, lads, you know he owes us one.
Yeah.
We'll get one. You know it's coming. You know what I mean? He owes us. It's true. You can see there it has been a bit static. It's what we're talking about. You know, it's a little bit, dare I say it, one-dimensional at a minute for me from Riverhounds in the way that they play.
Oh, here comes Galina straight onto the field.
Oh, respect to him though. He stepped off it.
Yep.
Respect to the young lad there, because he could have come in.
He easily could have come in.
Stepped away completely and held his hand up. So
honest lad,
good breed that. Honest lad. Good honest lad there.
Dos Santos trying to hold up play. Chambers trying to bother him in the process. Here comes Ryan James, had an assist on the Kerr goal, looking for a second. Good ball in, but Carlos read it the entire way. This 22-year-old from Brazil has been excellent tonight in almost every facet of the game.
That's exactly what you want from your goalkeeper right there. Ball gets swung in, you're facing the wrong way. You just want to hear your keeper. Keepers, and you're out the way. You just know he's coming to get it. But for me, that doesn't help Brett. That type of service there from that wide area, you're looking up, James looks up, he sees one lad in the box against 3 blues, and he's still delivering that ball.
If Dos Santos is checked back, and I'm a winger, and Dos Santos is lingering at the top of the box or is 25 yards away, early delivery is probably the last thing on my mind.
Yeah, I'm going to try and cut it into his feet and let him sort of turn and swivel on it, or maybe lay in a couple of runners. So it's exactly what I'll be looking for.
Because they're not exactly vertical giants, Pittsburgh, moving forward if it's not a set piece and you don't have Van Kenyeziel, Greenspan, Adewale in the mix. I mean, between Forbes, and Kevin Kerr, Dabo, I mean, they're vertically challenged. Let's leave it at that.
100%. I think that the way that the shape sets them up, it's difficult to get numbers in the box as well for Riverhounds at times, because they can break quick, and then you've got the 3 deep who are under Brett that it's sometimes struggled to get in there. You could just see Forbes making the advance run there.
Here is Canardo Forbes. Matt Real up for the header. Giovanni Willis, some tricks up his sleeve.
He's got a future ahead of him, Willis. He's got that long, tall, that Yaya Toure sort of structure in some respects.
You're throwing out some names
Pogba,
today.
Even Pogba style there. You know, the tall, the athletic, but really good feet. He knows where the pressure comes from.
Brandenburg still going at the 4th official.
That's what we spoke about. It's just chips, just little chips. That's all you're going to do. Just chip away.
Gnawing away.
Chip away.
It's really aggressive from James. It's paid dividends as Kevin Kerr won't be able to get there. Chambers bringing it down off of his dome. Dos Santos going for goal. Ofemu gets to it before it can reach his Brazilian keeper, and a corner kick coming up for the Hounds.
That's what we talk about, though, from Dos Santos. You know, he's the one that will get it, let it drop 25 yards out and hit a volley. You know, that's what he has. He's got that little bit of difference, that little bit of special.
Looking for Greenspan again. Real first to it. Much better defending from Bethlehem on the set piece. Kerr. Farris tracking back and looking to line that up at the back post was Nico Brett. He's the last one you want to line up a full-time volley.
Yeah, it's always that second ball for me in corners. You know, the first one gets dealt with. It's always the second ball that drops out and someone falls asleep when it comes out wide and gets whipped back in.
Carlos off of his line, and it's Greenspan who beats him to it. Joe Greenspan equalizes for the Hounds here at Talon Energy.
I think he's got, I don't know if he's got this right. It looked like a foul on the goalie for me. I know Greenspan got up early, but we'll see in a second. Great header there, though, from the centre-back. We spoke about that. He's such a set play. He gets up at, no, nothing wrong with that. He's talking about hands on him. Centre-back wants hands on him here, but Greenspan's excellent. Just gets up, brave.
Who's marking him? It was Ofemu's responsibility.
Yeah, Ofemu, he was claiming to be fouled because he felt he had 2 hands on him, but for me, Greenspan just got up and attacked the ball. Great header there. This game has been back and forth.
Unbelievable. And Joe Greenspan was in the middle of all that controversy with Bob Lilly in the first half. Talk about human resiliency to step in and make an immediate impact on the offensive side of the ball for your team when you've been struggling mightily defensively. I mean, a Pittsburgh Riverhounds team that has now given up 6 goals, not even through their first 3 full games, but they're still finding a way to be competitive.
And I think, you know, I think exactly that, right? How do you look at your glass? Half full, half empty? For me, it's half full. Look, we're giving these goals away, but we're still in the games and we're still scoring goals. So you just got to keep grinding through that. But we felt that might be their Achilles heel. We felt that it might just be a set play with his size and his ability up top. They always look for him.
Bernardo Forbes not happy with his header and racing over to go make the play as Issa Rayan, as Bethlehem are trying to get numbers back behind the ball. And Brett forced to go negative. But back to the battle between Ofemu and Greenspan. I mean, when you're the 2 biggest players on the field, for the referee to blow a whistle on a penalty or a foul in the box on a corner, it needs to be something drastic in order for the referee to blow his whistle.
Totally agree. And there was nothing drastic about that. It was a great delivery, and when we see it on second glance, it's just a great header. He gets up early. Yeah, he's got his arms up, but you have to maneuver it. You're going to claim that, but he got outbeat, the centre-back. And the goalkeeper came as well, and he out-jumped him. You know, for me as a goalkeeper, if you come, you've almost got license to do, you can punch.
Yeah.
You can punch.
The ball.
With a knee.
You can punch with a knee.
You can punch with a knee as a goalkeeper. No, but, you know, I know No one. There ain't many people. Once you hear that keeper coming, you're thinking, oh, it's coming.
Yep.
But there you see Ringspan using his quality and got above them.
Fearless.
All. Yeah.
Fearless going into that header.
Yeah. Quality. Great header for the centre back.
Rayon working on the veteran Bernardo Forbes. He gives him a how do you do.
He did. He's been good. Rayon, he's been very good, and he's been down this right-hand side. He's tricky. He looks to cut in and cut out. Crafty little outside back.
18-year-old from Dearborn, Michigan. Rayon was the ACC Rookie of the Year. The last 3 ACC Rookie of the Years have left early to go to the pros at some point in time. Whether it's Manny Perez, who was with Celtic and NC State, Jack Harrison, now at Leeds United, Wake Forest, Cam Lindley, or Orlando City, and he was a UNC Tar Heel. ACC pumps out some terrific products, whether it's at the USL Championship level or abroad, wherever it might be.
100%. Yes, they do.
And Joe Greenspan now called for the foul on a dangerous set-piece opportunity. Who's up, who's down, where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL Championship Power Rankings only on USLChampionship.com. And after their 1-0 win, St. Louis, who was #1 heading into this week, I have a feeling they're not going to move. However, John Arlia has been known to do some stranger things in the past, but St. Louis I don't think is going to go anywhere.
No. Another 1-0 win, like you said. He'll be happy up there. So happy.
That's your favorite win. Oh, you love a 1-0 win more than you love a 5-0 win.
Love a 1-0 win. 1-0 win under pressure.
And St. Louis was certainly under pressure against Charlotte, who find themselves in holes early in games, and in the last 10, 15 minutes, they just put it together.
Yep. Score goals. Speed Chambers, wonderful delivery. You see this whipping, maybe just over that wall, dropping in on that penalty spot.
It will be Chambers. Excellent ball in. Farris was there, and it was a glancing header.
Just needed a touch. Great ball. So hard to defend. He knows, the young lad knows there. It was there for him to come and head. Cortez running over. Great ball by Chambers, and he's just a couple of inches. Just needs a touch.
You saw Adewale. Yeah. He knows he missed his assignment, too.
Oh, yeah.
Adewale, a strong header. Willis bringing it down. Clever work from James, and the Hounds will recycle.
Look at the pressure there from Farris, and then
Here
there you see Zandi stepping out.
It's perfect from Bethlehem.
Brilliant. It's exactly what you want. Restrict him into that outside area. Let the touchline be your friend. They have to play it down the channel when your back three, your 2 centre-backs have dropped off. Oh, that was, hit that with his standing foot there. He's gone out for free. He's got away with it, but it was a little one of those.
Kevin Kerr, that's what Kevin Kerr's saying. Yep, there he goes.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. He's gone to play it up the line. I think Kevin Kerr turned his back and he's hit it with his standing foot and it's gone out to the ref. Done that a few times. Normally it's when you get to the byline and you go across last minute and then you hit it with your standing foot and you go across.
It's the worst. That's worse than missing the ball completely.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Standing foot, hit the standing foot, slide into the hoardings.
Ofema will play it safe, as does Greenspan. Chambers going to ground, he fans on it. Nico Brett, he wants it, parried away by Carlos.
Carlos does very well there because it just skips in front of him on a little bit of turf, you'll see it, but that's that Brett that we're talking about there. That's what we want to see more of him, getting on the half turn, 25 yards out, driving. That's
the first good look that he's had all night, 67th minute, here he is again. Willis trying to get rid of it, fouled from behind. He's got that 6th sense for the game. That's going to be brought back as Chambers went a little bit too quickly, but he heard and saw the space on this near right-hand side. All his momentum was bringing him the other way, and Willis just does an excellent job, but we'll get another look at that Nico Brett chance.
Brilliant here from Brett. Look, just Jones does very well there, beg your pardon, and He comes in here, Brett just takes his time, and it just skips up there in front of the goalkeeper who gets behind him. But sorry, James was the one beforehand who just a little touch and darts through. But like you said, 60-odd minutes in, and that's the first time your striker's had a shot on goal.
Willis tried to cushion it for Zandy. Brett's begging the referee for a foul. He's not going to get that.
And then he dives in. It's too straight. You could just see the centre-back there looking up. He's trying to hit that on the angle. It's just too straight. Straight into the keeper's hands, who does well. He's having to work to Santos, isn't it? Normally he's up there connecting with Brett, trying to link that play up. And he's having to drop so deep at the minute to try and get on the ball and do his defensive side that it's just nullifying their attack.
James, good first touch, battling with Issa Rayan. Good matchup there. The Michigan native gets the better of him.
Beautiful. Love it.
Nobody stepping to Van Kiyazil.
Got a lot of space.
In for Nico Brett.
Working the ball well here. Hounds working it really well. They've kept it for a good period of time.
Dos Santos sliding it through. Nico Brett blocked by Carlos in front. Still with Kevin Kerr. Kerr standing one up at the back post. James is there. Still staying in play.
Brilliant save by the goalkeeper. Wonderful passage of play with a lovely ball just in behind for Brett, who nearly got there. Keeper comes out brave.
You didn't say anything. You said what? Christian, take the penny off.
Well, we heard a Christian, so I assume that means Christian Valesky is going to find his way onto the field soon.
Hopefully quite soon. Challenge coming in here.
And Chambers issued mustard in the 70th minute for that challenge.
Does well, doesn't get involved, knows it's a foul, just comes away. And here he is.
Kevin, yeah, come on.
And it's going to be Kevin Kerr coming off, who got things started in the 5th minute. And he will be replaced by the 26-year-old from Henderson, Nevada, Christian Valesky. He's got 77 minutes under his belt already this year for Bob Lilly, who he helped win the USL Cup back in 2015 in his rookie season. And Valesky looking to make an instant impact for the Hounds with just 20 minutes remaining.
See Kerr coming off there. We spoke about it in the first half about how he was really causing some problems down that right-hand side, and he's just maybe not been as impactful in this second half. Made a quick change there, bringing in Valesky, who's going to come in and give him some more attacking prowess.
What's Brendan Burke's response going to be from a personnel standpoint?
He looked deep in thought there, didn't he? Little bit of pushing, little bit of shoving and pushing before this ball gets delivered. Referee's coming over to sort it out. Those things up his arms. Buzzers, right? For his linesman to give him a tap to get his attention.
Forbes looking to pick out Greenspan. He's double teamed. He's still going to win the header in front, but it's going to be offside. They're trying to deal with him in the air.
You can't.
He's too big.
He's too big. Yeah. Well, what they've done right is exactly that. They've doubled up on him. So what I'm trying for me, if I'm in that position now, I'm marking and I'm telling my maybe midfielder to drop in front and don't let him get a free header. Just drop right in front of it. He just drops off in there and doesn't.
But you're
give him the
doubling down.
opportunity.
But look who's on him. It's Matt Real and
Of
Walter
course.
Cortez.
Yeah.
Ofemu needs to be there. And needs to be one other person.
Your best header of the ball. When you go in the changing room, you're looking at corners and free kicks. He's their best header of the ball. So no doubt, you need your best header of picking him up. Done.
And now Jordan Dover has shown mustard here in the 73rd as yellow cards are starting to fly at Talon Energy.
Brings it down there. You just see Dover coming in, just studs up, catches him a little bit late there. Dover there, he's done well today. He's had a good game so far in his first 73 minutes. He's worked really hard. You can see him just trying to step out to that press from that, when it goes from a 3 to a 5, you know, he's so much work he has to do up and down that right-hand side.
They want a handball, and they're going to get it, Bethlehem, and now a set-piece opportunity for the home side, and that started with miscommunication between Morton and Greenspan.
Yep.
Morton was calling off Greenspan. He ended up heading the ball, and Pittsburgh failed to get it out of trouble.
Yeah, and flicks onto Vanker's heel. Got it out that right, beg your pardon. You can see it here. Just flicks it on. Good little touch there around the corner. Just tries to flick it around the corner, and there it does. Hits his arm. You can see him just bend his arm into it. Another ball for me, straight over the top.
Same exact spot.
Same exact spot.
Farris was centimeters away.
Just looking for a quick little movement, a little pick maybe. All you need is a head, just a glancing head.
Chambers, it's low this time.
Hit it.
He hits it on the first time, it takes a deflection, and it proved to be an important one. Sam Stockley has his crystal ball.
You had to.
Had to.
You had to, especially with him dropping on that on his right foot. You can see, look, poor free kick by his standards. Drops down to him here, and that is set up perfect. Right foot whip far post. That's what he's trying.
I like how he hits it with the instep too. Doesn't try to lace it.
Got to try. Got to instep that. Got to instep that. James getting a good header on it in the end.
Corner for Bethlehem now. 15 minutes remaining here at Talon Energy. Banky Azil first to it. Cortez up for the header. Pittsburgh looking to go with numbers, but it's going to fall for Chambers. Good header from Willis. Michi Galina. A little bit behind Issa Rayan. Good talk from Bethlehem to let their captain know that pressure was on the way.
What you can just see now there as well.
Zandy sliding one through. Cortez able to get there. Might fall for Farris, but the offside flag is going to be up before anything else happens.
Lovely little build-up play again. Really good play. I love those little intricate movements that they do, trying to get their outside backs just down into that byline to be able to then cut it back. But just before that, I was just saying now that with the sub coming on for Riverhounds, you could just see Brett's just dropped into that sort of right-hand roll. There you see Velusky up top now. He's the target man, a little bit bigger, a bit more dynamic, someone to hit with the two lads coming underneath it.
Chambers going direct. Galina.
What a touch.
So gentle. Good ball in. Willis
Oh,
laying it off. One more. Fontana deflected in front by James again. They want a handball. We'll get another look at it. Jose Lara doesn't need another look.
He needed to leave it. Fontana was coming up. He was going to bend. He was going to do what Chambers had just done it first time. Getting pulled in the channel. Brilliant. What about this? Look at that touch. And he slows him here. Look, starts him. Oof. And then pulls it back. And if he lets that run through his legs, Fontana's coming on.
Good presence of mind from Farris, though, to get it off of his foot 100%. Because the pressure was coming to him.
Yeah, and no penalty there.
Fans follow the Bethlehem Steel and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com.
I've been really impressed, really impressed with Galina and Faris. I know that, you know, we spoke about their youth and what they've got, but the way that they've got so many nice pieces. So many nice pieces in their touch and their movement, and they're only going to get better and better in this experience throughout the season.
And it's the youngster Anthony Velarde getting set to come on for Pittsburgh. See who he's going to replace.
He's going, needs something, right? They're going for it now.
And it's going to be Mohamed Dabo who's coming off, and he's been rather quiet.
He's found it difficult
in the second half, yeah.
Yes, he's found it difficult.
Again, it's that block that you're talking about.
There's been numbers up in there, and he's struggled to really get an imprint on it.
And before that throw-in happens, we're going to have the substitution. And it'll be Velarde for Dabo, as we mentioned, 23-year-old from Reedley, California, Anthony Velarde. In his first season with the Hounds, had the penalty and equalizer late on against the Swope Park Rangers. And pretty interesting that the rookie got the nod to be able to take that penalty. And he said he was a little bit nervous, but then he realized that, listen, if coach and the rest of the teammates are going to be okay with me taking it, they have the confidence in me, why shouldn't I have the confidence? And he buried it and was able to get them the first point of the season.
100%.
Here is Velarde. Slides it across. Valesky saved by Carlos, cleared off the line by Chambers.
What a first touch. What an introduction. Great ball as well. What a great ball. Slid in.
It would have been too good if he scored right there.
He looked if he was offside. Look at this. Gets it here. Great ball here. Slots it straight in.
How was Valesky not offside?
Valesky looked like he was offside. Goalkeeper comes out, does brilliant, makes a big save, and there you see Cortez flying in just out of shot that you see. Cortez came in and cleared it off the line.
And we'll take another look at that sequence. Sam, what do we got?
You could just see step straight in here, does everything right, puts it across, and there you see Volosky just trying to slot it under the goalkeeper. For me, could he have maybe sat the goalkeeper down, gone to shoot, put his foot on it? Could he have maybe little dinked it? That's what I'd have liked to have seen there.
You're playing some serious Monday morning quarterback over here. Here's Valesky jousting with Matt Real. Valesky staying on his feet, trying to cut it back, looking for an option now. Van Kiyazil.
Difficult one there for Van Kiyazil. On his left foot, he's just moved into this midfield role now, to be fair, a little bit more advanced. And there you see DeSantos, great little feet, puts it in there. Good work right here from Valesky. You see what he's trying to do. It's good defending.
It is good defending from Real.
And then he just picks his head up, and there it comes into him, and he's getting pressured and just trying to bury it. It's too much. Good pressure there.
Now Pittsburgh starting to find some pockets in the final 10 minutes. Nico Brett now. Hound showing teeth. Brett stood up by Chambers, and he gave him a little stare after the fact as well.
Yeah, he did. They've been having a little bit of needle all game. I've watched the free kicks. They've been talking to each other in each other's ear, and it's been going on a little bit there. So Chambers will have a nice little chance just to look down on him. But that's always difficult with a forward. I never did that as a centre-back. I always wait until the end of the game, because you just know if they score, they're coming at you.
Corner won by Bethlehem. Second ball still available. Dos Santos back for James, just clips it in, gets out a 60-degree.
Love that dink.
Galina doesn't fully clear it away. Dos Santos keeps it in play. Issa Rayan.
Rayan's done very well. We've mentioned it a couple of times, but his defending and his patience. I still would have liked to see Volosky just stop it and give it a little dink, or just a little chip back. He was going for the side foot. He was going for safety, but it was opened up perfect. It looked like he was a bit offside. No flag.
Forbes. Oh, Brett thought about it the first time. Now here it goes again. And a good step from Real. He read it the entire way.
Oh, it looked like it set up perfect.
Seen some great attacking play from both teams. Just a little recap here as we enter the final 10 minutes. Kevin Kerr got things started in the 4th minute, then 2 unanswered goals from Michi Galina and Faris in reverse order. Galina's was the game winner, and then it was an equalizer from Joe Greenspan here in the first portion of the second half, as Galina could be away, and Michi Galina puts it wide.
He done everything right. You can see him. What a run. What a run. He does everything right. lovely little slip ball through here, and you see Galina coming in on that right-hand side, cuts it onto his right foot, and he's just trying to open his body up and bury it.
That'll keep you up at night.
Yeah, he's been excellent tonight. He really, really has. His touching, just some of his touches and finesse, balls out the air, and then his movement and his runs. And obviously his finish.
And more on that, both Farris and Galina were non-existent in the Memphis game. I mean, you barely recognized that they were on the field. And Memphis, credit to Memphis, they did a great job. They had a game plan. Tim Mulqueen, you know, extremely defensive-minded, you know, goalkeeper coach himself. But, you know, to have that sort of response against another great defensive team in Pittsburgh, although they still need to prove that in 2019, giving up 6 goals in their first 3 games already, or not even 3 games. I mean, it just goes to show that, I mean, you talked about the short memory, you know, Brendan Burke scratching it off. I mean, in terms of these kids' minds, they also have to scratch off the bad games as well and say, okay, on to the next one.
Yeah, they won't be thinking about the bad games. They'll be looking at, as we mentioned, you know, part of their routine and part of their training is a lot of video, a lot of individual development video, a lot of training individually as well within a group setting. You know, he was talking about all of this. So they'll be looking at, okay, maybe your run was like this, or maybe you could do that.
Here's Galina again. He has been outstanding, sliding it through. Farris saved by Morton.
It was brilliant.
He blew up a perfect Bethlehem attack. Galina again, still could fall for Chambers. He stands one up in the back post. Galina up for the header, but there's the big Joe Greenspan, and Dover finally gets it away. How good was that from Farris and Galina?
That's what we're talking about, you know, that it's just going to grow, you know, they're just going to grow. And what they'll do after this game, they'll analyze their video and they'll look at all the good link-up plays that they had, all the good runs that they had, all the runs that didn't quite work out. It's just brilliant here. Look at Galini, just picks it up. There, stop, start. He's got such an acceleration. His head's up the whole time. Look, he tries to roll it over his foot there, gives it a little cut back here, and he does everything right there.
That was 2 Bethlehem players dicing up 5 different Hound defenders.
And Farris did everything right there. He's just trying to dink that. He's just trying to chip that back across his body as the keeper come out. Great save from the keeper who stood up and obviously stopped a goal there.
And it just goes to show a keeper, even in a goal-scoring bonanza like this one where you have 4, there's still big saves to be made, even though you're not going to get the clean sheet.
Huge. You know, you've just seen it, the one at the other end with him coming in off Velosky's effort. He made a great save.
Oh, Issa Rayan says, see you later to Velarde. A rare miscue from Michi Galina. Fontana got stepped on by James. Referee not interested. Now it's Valesky holding it up. Numbers the other way for Bob Lilly's side. Forbes, room to work with. Numbers to work with. Vanky Azil now. Ryan James again. Early delivery. Won by Ofemu. And again by Ofemu.
The only thing for me there with Galina is just knowing that when Fontana's gone down, that he needs to cover in and be his position. He just stayed a little bit out there, the young lad, and that's where he's got to recognize he's got a man down, and I need to fill a space here.
Bethlehem have yet to use a sub. And the broadcaster curse is very real as Michi Galina is offside and Bethlehem prepared to make their first substitute of the game.
See Farris there talking to Lino saying no chance, no chance. He looked just a second off it, but again, that's what's so great about them. You play a high line, they're going to go in behind you. You drop off them, they're going to combine and turn and get at you.
This is a night and day situation for Bethlehem compared to the game against Memphis last week. It is unbelievable to see the ideas and everything coming out here against the Riverhounds. And credit to Pittsburgh and Bob Lilly who have fought back. They opened up the scoring, went down 2-1. Greenspan gets the equalizer after all of the turmoil that he had with Lilly in the first half.
And they've just done, and rightly so, you mentioned that. They've just had a chance at the other end with Velosky coming on and could be 3-2 up. It's how this game's been, but you know, when you look at the actual control of the front two and how they've really managed this game for Pittsburgh, beg your pardon, Bethlehem Steel, they've been excellent.
Ryan James bringing it down. That's a great first touch to find Forbes. Now he's on the turn. Big sweeping ball intended for Dos Santos. Is it going to hold up? No, it's going to skip along the surface here at Talent Energy. And a goal kick for Carlos. They're still trying to figure it out.
87 minutes in, they're still trying to figure it out. That's a bit concerning. I told you, you know, we've mentioned about it. Two center forwards, and the two lads for Bethlehem still from wide come inside, and they create that little box like this, and it just narrows them up, and it's so hard.
Ferris, good ball through. Cortez is onside. Cortez, good ball in. Ferris is late, and Fontana made a mess of it. It was a difficult ball to handle. Give him credit for that, but excellent build-up play from Bethlehem again.
Maybe he's just put off. Get Cortez excellent here. We haven't seen enough of this from him. He's had a tough evening in respects defensively, and then you just see, just stops on it. He's got to carry on his run there. Fontana drops in, hits that a la Frank Lampard, carries on running. That was him to a tee, just dropping in. Great arriving at the edge of the box there, though. Good timing.
I thought Ferris was going to get to it. He got up.
Maybe that threw him off a little bit, to be fair, because of the leap, but he had time to bring it down as well. He could have brought that down.
88th minute. Captain Forbes in for Nico Brett, trying to cushion it down for Velarde. Bob Lilly wants to pin down this young Bethlehem side.
Stay calm if you're Bethlehem in this stage of the game. Just stay calm.
Great first touch from Valesky. Loose in front. Venky Azil gets a touch to it and finally cleared away. And we're being told the substitution that was going to come on for Brendan Burke in Bethlehem is now sat back down, so he might go with this 11 for 90.
Why not? They've earned it.
He only has 5 options off the bench to begin with, Brendan Burke.
You don't want to mess with this rhythm. They're playing very well.
An early delivery over everything, and Carlos can take it for Bethlehem.
Pittsburgh have seemed to have delivered a lot of balls from that area of the field, almost 25 yards outside, 20 yards, 25 yards outside the box, and delivered from deep, which hasn't helped them at all.
And now here comes the substitute for Bethlehem, as it's going to be Borgelin coming on and replacing Ferris, who got the equalizer for Bethlehem in the first half after the opening goal from Kevin Kerr. And Borgelin, just 17 years of age, from Margate, Florida. Came up through the Union Academy and has represented the Haitian national team at the U20 level. Haiti actually just qualifying for the Gold Cup. They finished at the top of the CONCACAF Nations League qualifying table.
You've got to be a young lad in Philly Union Academy looking at this, watching this game, thinking, wow, I've really got a chance to play. I can play, you know what I mean? Look at this pathway, look at what's happening. Look at these 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 19-year-olds all coming up, coming in with an opportunity, and I love that. For me, that's what it's about. If you're good enough, you're old enough, right?
Two minutes of stoppage time at the minimum. Is there late drama between these two Keystone rivals? Chambers over the top. Keeper off of his line. Borgelin around Morton, scrambling to get back home is Kyle Morton. Still with Bethlehem. Galena drives it in, brought down by Willis, challenged by James, and Greenspan soars into the rescue for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who are still scrambling to defend.
I thought Willis was going to bike it.
No.
Popped it up and looked like he was going to maybe hit a bike.
Tyron Espria.
Oh.
Halfway through the stoppage time, Matt Real over the top.
Nothing wrong with that ball. Stick it in the corner, get a throw-in up there, kill time. Great decision. Wouldn't take it quick, though.
Only option that Chambers had. Pittsburgh failed to deal with it appropriately. Cortez, bit hopeful. Chambers hoping to find Zandy, keeps it in play. Chambers, well done. Greenspan cuts it out before it can get too dangerous for Bethlehem.
You can just see Chambers getting back in, head down the captain, get back in, last minute of the game.
Velarde trying to find Nico Brett. He was trying to locate the ball. And that's gonna do it. Another electric fixture between Bethlehem and Pittsburgh. It finishes the same way the Eastern Conference quarterfinal did in 2018, but it is the regular season, no extra time, no penalties. Both teams have to settle for a point. Bethlehem still in search of their first win at home at Talon Energy. Pittsburgh still desperately searching for their first win at 2019. It was a wild affair here at Talon Energy. Joseph Greenspan had the last laugh and the equalizer for Pittsburgh. Sam Stockley, your thoughts on it all?
I think if Bethlehem still, you're going to come away from that with so many plus points. You're going to be a little bit disappointed at Pittsburgh Riverhound, but all credit to Bethlehem still in the way that they played today, coming back and getting back involved.
When these two meet, they never let the third party down. It was a nail biter till the very end. We'll step aside and put a bow on it when we come back. Full time here at Talon Energy Stadium in Chester, Pennsylvania on the Delaware River, and Brendan Burke's side, young, gritty, quality. Bob Lilly's team, I mean, even if they win 3-0, they're going to get a tongue lashing. That's just sort of the way that he is, and we'll take a look at how it all went down. And Sam, if you're just tuning in, I really do feel sorry for that fan that's just getting late to this game, but we'll help you out a little bit. 5th minute, Kevin Kerr got things started, and it just took off from there.
It certainly did. You see Kevin Kerr scoring his goal back across, you know, little touch there. This was a wonderful header. Look at this ball, comes in inviting there. And there you see Faris, but here we go with the little 1-2 give and go, and this outside of the right foot for Galea. What a player, what a game he had. Wonderful game by the two front men for Bethlehem Steel.
And then that shot from Steven Dos Santos, frustrated. He didn't see all that much delivery tonight, and then Pittsburgh would just continue to knock on the door. And this was right around the time we were giving all the praise in the world for Carlos, and then he comes off the line for that corner kick we'll see in just a few moments. James Chambers losing possession there. Dos Santos shot, takes a deflection, and then the ensuing corner, and it's Greenspan.
Greenspan does everything right for me here. He gets up, attacks the ball, goalkeeper comes, centre back was complaining about it. Nothing he could do about that, the goalkeeper. That's just a great header.
Greenspan's first goal this season. It brought us level at 2, and that's where the scoring would stop, but that's not where the drama would stop, because Bethlehem had chances, Pittsburgh had chances.
100%. It was end-to-end. Here you can see Brett, who had difficult game. He didn't really 2 or 3 looks on goal, but not that, you know, nothing too great. This was a wonderful ball through here. Just couldn't get onto that, Brett. Here you can see Kerr trying to work his magic to stand it back up, back post here, and you've got James coming in, but, you know, credit to Bethlehem Steel in a way that they defended the ball. Chambers coming in here. We see this, look, drop for him perfect. We both said hit it. He tried to, inside of the foot, going far post with a great, you know, great defensive header there that goes out for a goal kick at the end of it. Corner kick, sorry.
And here are the full-time stats. It was a very physical game. 3 yellow cards for Bethlehem. Possession ended up being in favor of Pittsburgh. I mean, you know, the numbers say that it was a really even game. Do you think it's a fair result for both teams, 2-2?
I do.
Okay.
You know, I know that we've been talking about Bethlehem Steel and the forwards, and I think that they've played very well in their shape. But don't forget, Pittsburgh Riverhounds have dug in. You know, they've done well. They're on a bit of a run at the minute. They're not losing games, all right, because they're dropping points, but they're not necessarily losing games at the minute. They've just got to tighten it up. I think once they get home, then back to their home ground, then they'll have an opportunity.
A point on the road is a point on the road, especially against a team that did you in the postseason a year ago. Joe Greenspan with the final goal in this goal-scoring bonanza in Chester, Pennsylvania. For our entire crew, who did an unbelievable job, as always, and my broadcast partner, Sam Stockley, Tyler Terrence saying so long for now. The final score from Talent Energy, Bethlehem Steel FC 2, Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC 2. We'll talk to you soon, folks.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.